See, leadership is about a social relationship. Leadership is a social context. Today, if I come in on the stage here and I just say, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me, I'm your new leader. Some of you will say, che. Right? Or some of you will probably say, who on earth is that guy, you know? So the key here is this. For me to lead all of you to go somewhere, you must give me the permission to do that first. You must give me the permission for me to lead you. So the question is this. What will make you give that permission to me? What will make you give that permission to me? Now consider for a moment, you are going to go on a flight. You have booked this airfare and you're going there so happy, and then you go onto the plane. As you go onto the plane, normally who is in first, the pilot or you? Pilot, right? Okay, so let's say right now you go into the plane, you board the plane, and then the pilot comes, he's the last one, he rushed in, and then he corrects his clothes, everything, his uniform, and then he announced, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining me on this flight. This is the first time ever I have flown a plane. And I hope that I can bring you there safely and just enjoy the flight. For you to lead people, people must give you permission to do that. And for people to give you permission to lead them, you must be able to convince them you can lead yourself first. If you can't lead yourself first, if you can't take care of yourself, if you can't make decisions that is positive in your own life, people will not dare to put their future in your hands. Human beings are emotional creatures. Everyone I met, okay, no matter how logical they are, the moment you talk about some things that are emotional, they will definitely either soften up or they will start to think of things that are irrational. So for example, if let's say today you have a painter or you have a scientist, right? A scientist. Now, one of the criteria to be a scientist is you have to be logical, right? And you have to be very rational, right? So for example, if a scientist were to come up here and the scientist were giving his latest discovery in science, okay, and he was giving a good lecture, very logical, highly logical lecture, and then after that, you stood up, you raised your hand and you say, that's bullshit! Okay? So I'm sure that when that happened, the hall will be empty, the hall will be silent, pin drop and you can hear it. And then after that, the scientist, who is still very logical at that time, and the scientist will say, can you please explain yourself? Because I would like to know if you have a different opinion. So you continue and says, actually, I just say it's bullshit because I feel it's bullshit. Looks like bullshit. So it must be bullshit. Okay? So let's say that's what happened now. Do you think this scientist, who is so logical, who is so irrational, will say, well, in that case, your idea is not logical, so I'm not going to listen to that. Do you think he will react that logically or that rationally? Think about it for a moment. In order for you to be hurt by someone, you have to first allow that person to hurt you, you know. If today, someone tells you some hurtful words, and you choose to believe that, you know what, I can't be bothered. That hurtful words will not hurt you. Let me share with you a story that happened to me in 1993. I was Form 3 at that time, sitting for PMR. The very first time PMR was there. I had a teacher. And this teacher, I believe, okay, if you believe in past life, previous life, this life, previous life, next life and all that, I believe that probably in the previous life, okay, I probably owe her a few million ringgit or a few $1 million. And that's why this life she is coming here to make it hell for me, you know. Now what happened was, this particular teacher taught me mathematics. And during Chinese New Year, this teacher came to my house. After greeted my parents, hey, 新年快乐, 恭喜发财 and all that, right? She proceeded to complain to my mother about me. First day of Chinese New Year, can you imagine? I was like, spoiled my Chinese New Year already, you know. And straight away, after she left, you think when your teacher goes to your house, complain about you to your parents, you think your parents will say, wow, so guai, so good. I don't have to tell you what happened next, alright? But it was terrible. And in school, okay, what happened next was, when she give back the exercise books to the students, she give, call one by one, Abu, she gave, Chong, she gave, Alice, she gave, Bong, she throw. I walk towards her, and she throw, I have to catch the book like that. Now that was second thing. The third thing was this. When she wants to get my attention, she throw chalk at me. You must be thinking, this teacher must be sadistic, right? Okay, this teacher must be crazy or something like that. Something against me. Yeah, I have no idea why, okay? Her husband was my teacher as well. Her husband was my history teacher. And I love him. He made the history interesting. He made everybody stay up, alert to listen to his stories. But the wife is a different story lah. Okay, the wife made my life living hell in school. Now, at that moment in time, I could make two choices. The first choice is, you know what? Since this teacher hates me so much, I can't be bothered anymore. Fed up already. Forget about it. That is the first choice. And a lot of people will make that choice because that choice is easy to make. Easy to make. Right? Because that choice doesn't require us to do anything. That choice only requires us to give up. So there was another thing, Normally in life, you always have one angel and one devil next to you, right? So the devil spoke first. And then the angel said, now listen to me. So what the angel told me was this. The angel looks at me, mini-me, that one, telling me, you can either listen to that devil there and give up and that's it and regret later, or you can prove that teacher wrong. So I thought about it. That night I was like, the heart was beating very fast. I was like, what should I do? Should I give up? Because give up is so easy, Later, if I fail everything, if I don't do well in my PMR, my parents come and talk to me, or my parents, they scold me or what, I can just tell them, no, the teacher. That teacher tell me I have no hope. That teacher tell me I have no future. You know what? She cursed me. So it became true. But I was like, would I like that? Would I really want that kind of future for myself? So I made it a point. I make that teacher, the one who made my life living hell in school, as my focus and as my target. Every night I just tell myself, I'm going to do really well in my PMR so that when the result came out, I'm going to run to her and I'm going to do this with a big smile on my face and say, see, I got all A's. So I decided that one sounded nicer because more exciting. So I started to study. Even though she threw chalk at me, I was like angry inside, but I was like, forget it, I'll prove to you. Even though she continued to throw the books at me, I was like, I'll prove to you. So PMR came, and then I sat for my PMR. PMR result came up. My heart was like beating, pop, 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 like that. So I went, I look at my names, everything on the papan kenyataan. So I saw it on the notice board. I look at other people's names, like let's say John, Bahasa Malaysia, what grade. I kept on looking at everywhere except mine, because why? Anyone guess? Too scared to look. Too scared to look, Because I made a big challenge to myself. I'm going to prove to that teacher that I can, What if I can't? So finally, I scrolled down to my own name. I saw it. 7 subjects I took. A. I got straight A. And I ran out, because that time no handphone yet. That time, really, that time no handphone. That time only have what we call as the taiko tai, those huge handphone that when you throw it on the road break, not the handphone break, that time. Okay, so I don't have those phones. I ran out, probably about 1 kilometer away to the shop to take the public phone. Because the only public phone in school doesn't work. That normally happens, okay? So I rush back, I call my mom, let her know. I was so happy, I ran back. I was like panting. Look for the teacher and says, teacher, I got all A's. So proud, my moment. And my teacher straight away said, you also can. Everyone is actually out of time, If I ask people, do you have a lot of time to spare? Most people will have said no time. And you know what? You are not alone. Okay? You are not alone in this. Everyone in the world feels that they have not enough time. As students don't have enough time to study, but they have time for Facebook. Right? Adults, they don't have enough time to invest in themselves to continue learning and studying, but they have time to follow the Korean drama. Right? And learn the latest, what do you call this, Oppa Gangnam. Right? No time, no time to study, no time to learn, no time to improve self, but got time for oppa. You see, what happened here is, there is never enough time. When God created human beings, God is very fair. You might be big, you might be small, you might be rich, you might be poor, you might be fat, you might be thin, you might be old, you might be young. Every one of us, we only have 24 hours in a day. And how successful you are depends on how you use that 24 hours. Okay? Every one of us, we are very rich. We just don't know it. Why are we very rich? We are rich because we have time. Imagine some people who are lying on a deathbed because they are sick. They only have 2 days left. No matter how much money they have, doesn't make any difference. You know? People who are like us right now, we are alive, we are healthy, we are fit, we are rich. And we don't realize how rich we are. And that's why we waste a lot of these precious resources. If you have money, right, you have one stack of money, will you just walk around and throw your money like that? Anyone will do that? If you do that, you tell me, I will come and follow you. Because when you throw, I will just collect. No one in their right mind would do that. But you know what? We do that with time. Every time we walk, throw time away, throw time away, throw time away, throw time away. And that's what we do. And have you ever heard someone say this? Money is more precious than time? The other way, right? Time is more precious than money. And you have to treat time as more precious.